come to experience and what you've come to do does not sync with having a Ferrari, then you can wallpaper your bloody house with Ferraris. It ain't going to happen. It ain't as simple as visualize a Ferrari, law of attraction, brum, 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 here I go. It's the totality of the energy field that we create that draws in our attracted reality. One part of that is the range of energies or vibrations and frequencies that we are accessing. The more expanded that is, the larger our state of awareness, the more our energy field in embodiment is affected by that. That affects what goes out, it affects what comes in. What our energy field contains from all these different influences together makes the magnetic connection which we draw into us. The astrological influences on our energy field also affect the overall mix of the vibrational field that we are projecting. Because, as I said earlier, when you're born at a certain time, the energy nature of you and where you're born is affected by where the planets are, so you're going to have a slightly different or sometimes significantly different energy field influenced by the planetary and star influences than someone born at a different time. And then there's also the journey. We come in with a certain amount of coding that takes us through a journey, and sometimes maybe a challenge that we will then follow without realizing we're following it. And so when I look at my life, there are many times when I've said that, why me? What have I done? I remember in the early 90s, I'm thinking, I only want to kind of be spiritual like, and I get all this shite thrown at me. You know, and it's like, why me? Oh my God, what have I done? I'm only trying to do some bloody help. Come on, what's going on? And then I look back and I see those nightmare experiences as my greatest gift. My greatest gift. We are often offered our greatest gifts magnificently disguised as our worst nightmares. Because we are what we are at this point, not despite what has happened to us, nice, not so nice, and all in between, but because of what has happened to us. That's what's brought us to this state. And there was a time in my life, like everyone else's life, when I was, shall we say, aware of how people saw me. You know, as you do when you're a teenager and then you grow up, you're even older, you're always saying, you know, how people see me, and you're on the telly, and, you know, I hope people like me and all that stuff. And you are, in other words, you are looking for external approval, because that helps your insecurity. When I went through the extraordinary levels of ridicule that I went through in this country, in the 1990s particularly, it was a nightmare. I couldn't go down any place in Britain without being laughed at, ridiculed, all that stuff. And yet, what it did was clear me completely, or as much as I'm aware of that need for approval, of that, here we go, fear of what other people think of me. That's what it did. So many of the why me's, we really ought to ask, why me? Why does it all happen to me? Great question. Why does it always happen to you? Because it's here that the power is. When we realize this is where the projection's coming from, then if we change this, the projection, the holographic physical experience, must change in line with the change in the projection, and therefore our life changes. But it don't change out there, it changes in here. And my experience of life now allows me to continue to take ridicule and abuse and all that stuff, but I don't give a damn anymore. I don't give a damn. It's changed my reality. There's a lot to be spoken for about worst nightmares, because so often they are our greatest gifts. Not always, but so often. And moving to another level of consciousness is moving our point of observation from within this holographic reality, this physical reality, this suppressed reality, into that level of reality that people experience in out-of-body experiences. From that perspective, this world looks totally different. If we can move our point of observation of this reality while we're still in it, then everything changes. Because the level of consciousness changes, and therefore the problems we wish to change and the things we don't like in this reality can change, because the level of consciousness is higher than those that created the problems. So it's moving our point of observation to another level, and then everything changes here. It can't otherwise. And it's interesting, when you look at these things, the astrological influences, the level or range of frequencies that we are accessing, which we call awareness, the energy fields that we have, the auric field, which then attracts to it what it's putting out, the life journey, the why me stuff, all of them have one thing in common. They all come from within. Not out there. There is no out there. It all come from within. What the manipulators want us to do, and constantly encourage us to do, is to look out there. As Gandhi said, you must be the change you want to see in the world. You must be, because you are the world, your world, and together the world. And therefore, when we change, the world changes. If we don't change, the world can't change, because the world is us and we are the world. What the manipulators want us to do is look out there. And one level is looking for someone to blame all the time when things go wrong in our lives. And I understand that. It seems like that sometimes. You're to blame, you're responsible, and what's that doing? It's saying, you have my power, you have my power, you have my power, because I haven't got control over my life, you have, because you're to blame, therefore you must have power over me. Giving power away, we do it all the time. When we go, hold on a second, how have I created this situation, how can I uncreate it? Now, where's the power gone? Thank you, I'll have it back. You're not to blame, I'm not even to blame. I'm just using my knowledge now to change the reality I don't like, because I have the power, because I'm creating it. Therefore, you don't have power over my life, I have power over my life. Thank you very much. Completely different point of observation. Now I'll change my life, because you're not in control of it, I am. Luck. Luck. Luck, oh, I'm so unlucky. Why? Put it out, bring it back. You know, I've observed so many people, bloody hell, I've observed me bloody self through my life. When you see the same recurring thing, oh, I'm so unlucky, oh yeah. Why? Why? Power back, I'm in control. So, when we look out there, and this is what we're encouraged to do, it's like looking at a movie screen, because you don't like the movie, i.e. your experienced reality, and starting to shout at the computer screen or at the movie screen. Oh, yeah, don't like this movie. Change it, change it. You're mad, mate. It's a bloody movie. It's a projection. You can't change it by shouting at it. It's your fault. The projection is back there, or behind there in this case. That's where it's coming from. So if you want to change the movie, mate, go and find the projector, and then this must change. You ain't going to change the movie by shouting at the sodding screen. But what do? Every day we shout at the sodding screen. Because we don't go to the projector, which is projecting it. Why? Because it's much easier to think it's someone else's fault. We talk about,